Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to this is the Dr. Staci Science and Technology Zoom. If you are a guest tonight, welcome. I'm excited that you are joining us, and I'm looking forward to you being able to learn a little bit more about Lifewave's technology, how it works, how it can help you. And of course, as always, I love to answer any questions that you have in the comment section in the chat a little bit later on. So here's kind of how this is going to roll. I'm going to share with you, first of all, that I am not a medical doctor. I am not your doctor. If you have questions about your health, please check with your healthcare practitioner or your doctor. The information that I'm sharing tonight is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to prevent, treat, cure, or diagnose anything that's going on with you. And I really do want to answer your questions. I know in the beginning when I started learning about Lifewave, I had questions. Please put them in the chat. I will go back through that chat and be able to answer those questions for you, as many as possible. But remember that we are not going to be discussing any specific diseases or syndromes or conditions. Talk to me in regards to your symptoms. If you had a grocery list of issues, of problems, of things that you're dealing with, that's what I want you to share with me, and then I can make some recommendations on that. But tonight I am going to not only share with you how this technology works and how it can help you and answer some of those frequently asked questions at the beginning, I'm also going to talk a little bit about each patch tonight too. A lot of people ask me all the time, can you go over all the patches? Can you go over everything? And I don't typically dive into each one of them. I have done it before in trainings. I have that on my YouTube channel. But for some reason tonight, when I was going through my patch bag here and my patch stash, and I was getting out my patches, I decided to lay all of them out in front of me. And so I thought, okay, well, we're gonna talk a little bit about each one of them tonight. So I want to explain to you how it works, first of all, so you understand the basis and the foundation of this technology. So this is a non-transdermal patch. It's sticky on one side and smooth on the other. So non-transdermal means nothing's entering the body. No chemical, no medicine, no nutrient, no herb, no substance at all enters your body when you put this on. You're probably familiar with a transdermal patch, like a birth control or estrogen or maybe a nicotine or a pain patch. When you put those on the body, a chemical or a medicine is transferred into the skin and into the body, and it does something like relieve pain or balance hormones or whatever may be. So this is not how this works. Okay, I want you to understand that. This sticky side and this smooth side, these are 3M hypoallergenic polymer shells. And this white disc here is embedded between the two of them. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with you on this so you can understand it and be able to have a reference point for how it works, because sometimes it may seem a little confusing at first, especially if you're not familiar with light technology. This is a wearable light technology. And David Schmidt, the inventor of this company or of this patch and the owner of this company, the CEO, has invented what is in here. He downloaded from the divine the idea to create this non-transdermal patch that does what I'm going to share with you that it does. So being that is a wearable light technology, nothing's entering your body except a wavelength of light. So how does that happen? Well, if you put your hand on your chest, you're about 98.6 degrees, right? And we emit heat, body heat, or light. It's a low-level infrared light. How do we know this? Well, we can go outside right now. I'm here on the East Coast, and it's dark outside. And if you were to go outside, I live out in the country, I can't see my neighbors because they're nowhere near my house anyways. But if I look down the street, I couldn't see neighbors, and I can't see animals in the woods, which we have a lot of those out there, unless I'm looking through night vision goggles. So if I look through night vision goggles, I can go outside, I can see animals, I can see people in color, right? The outline of them in red, blue, yellow, green, orange, whatever color, the heat or light that their body is emitting. That is what this patch works with. It works with our heat or our light. So if you understand that, that's pretty simple, right? So then what has David invented? What is in the middle of that patch? Well, it's a crystal lattice structure. And it's not a crystal like a clear quartz crystal or an amethyst, not crystals like that. These are molecules, all right? Solutions of ingredients, proprietary blends of organic amino acids, sugars, oxygen, and water, and not things like from your kitchen, but molecules that form together to make this lattice. This lattice that's embedded in this patch is reflective. All right, so we emit heat or light. The patch is a reflective light source. So I put this patch on, my body's heat or light hits it, reflects back a very specific wavelength of light. Now, again, this is proprietary. We have a 20-year patent on this patch. We're in year 4 of that 20-year patent, so you won't know what wavelength of light it is. But that is what David has invented. Now, it took him 10 years in the lab to figure out how to do what I'm going to share with you that this specific patch does. But just so you know, David has actually been inventing patches for over 20 years, different types of patches. And if those of you that are using Lifewave currently, I'm sure you took advantage of the promo that Lifewave had last week with the energy enhancer. This is the first patch that David invented over 20 years ago when he was working with the Department of Defense with the Navy. He was contracted for the SEALs on a mini submission, and he was asked, because of the success that his inventions had, to contribute to the problem the SEALs had with sustainability, oxygenation, stamina, endurance. In the field, they were on a lot of caffeine and amphetamines and uppers. And so he was downloaded, given the idea by the divine, to create a non-transdermal patch energy enhancer that my dog does not need right now, but she thinks she does, that triggers beta oxidation. And so that was the first patch with Lifewave over 20 years ago. But we're going to focus on the X39 first, and I'll come back to this one here in a minute. So you're probably thinking, well, gosh, if this has been around this long, why have I not heard of it? Well, it's been word of mouth, right? People sharing with people all over the country, actually. Lifewave is a global company. We're in 81, 82 different countries now. We just opened South Korea last week. And so we are open to share with people all over the country that, and all over the world, that have an experience with the product and share with others. It's word of mouth advertising, basically word of mouth marketing. And so when David was working so diligently on Lifewave's X39 stem cell activation patch, that is that 10-year period of time, he was inventing other patches. He invented other ones that I'm going to share with you briefly what they do. But this one took a long time. And his research started with Dr. Lauren Picard. If you have not heard of him yet, this is a fantastic book. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what X39 does through this and another one. But basically, this doctor discovered the peptide GHK copper peptide in your body over 50 years ago. This is not new. You may not know that GHK exists. You may have never heard of it. You may not realize that it's a peptide that you have in your body. You may not even know what a peptide is, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But know that what David figured out with X39 is when you put this patch on, the wavelength of light that's reflected back into your body, it activates and elevates GHK copper peptide. And you can see on here from Dr. Lauren's book, Dr. Lauren Picard's book, you know, for skin and anti-aging, for hair, for beauty, resetting your genes to youth, right? Lots of great benefits. We typically think of GHK for the skin, right? The fountain of youth, lines, wrinkles, spots, circles, sagginess, all that kind of stuff. But we know that GHK has a lot of other benefits. And Dr. Lauren Picard shared those through his 5 decades of clinical studies. And you can go to PubMed, you can look up GHK, you can look up Dr. Lauren Picard, and you can see all of that. But we do have on our team, in Team Evolve, Dr. John Harmon, that has just recently last year written this book for all of us and for the public, for the world, to be able to help understand in a very simple, easy way, in layman's terms, how GHK can benefit the body. So this book is broken down into different chapters. I love it because it's so easy to read, but I also love it because he does talk about the benefits of elevating GHK with the skin. But he also talks about the benefits of elevating GHK for the cardiovascular system. And if you saw me last Saturday on our Zoom with Dr. Harmon, he shared his PowerPoint on how to reverse aging with GHK. And he talked about his cardiovascular benefits he's had using this patch. Not only PVC has gone away, but right branch bundle block disappeared after a year and a half, and that just doesn't happen. So, we'll go back and watch that. The person that invited you can definitely get you that recording. It was fantastic information for all of us. So, cardiovascular benefits, neurological benefits for elevating GHK. Dr. Don Verhulst, he was on here with me last week, and he and I spent an entire month back in November talking about the brain and the neurological system and different types of neurodegeneration issues and all kinds of things to do with the brain, without, of course, making any claims on diseases. But when you elevate GHK, which does happen to cross the blood-brain barrier as an antioxidant, it's pretty powerful what it does for the brain to help benefit neurologically. And we can see that in our clinical studies. We have over 90 clinical studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled, independent, peer-reviewed. And we're going to share a link with you in the chat so you can go look all those up. And you can look up lots of information about Lifewave on this chat. You can hear David speak on video. You can see the studies. You can see the patents. You can learn from other doctors and see testimonials from people on this site as well, too. And Leah put that in there. Thank you, Leah. So when you elevate GHK, you have cardiovascular, neurological, skin, you have muscle benefits. We see benefits with pain reduction, inflammation reduction, with sleep, with energy, vitality. But one of the things I really want to focus on with you tonight is with X39, when you put this patch on in the morning, you put it on in the morning when you brush your teeth, we know that immediately it resets a third of your genes back to their young, youthful, healthy state. So it's real simple. I get up in the morning, I grab my pack, put my patch on, I'm brushing my teeth, and I just leave it on and it starts working. I don't feel light entering my body. I don't see anything happening, but that happens right away. And we know that from the studies. We can see in the clinical studies, the patent states that we elevate GHK copper peptide in blood work. But something amazing happens, and this is why you're all here, I'm sure. This actually then elevates and activates and mobilizes your own stem cells. Now, I said GHK was the fountain of youth. Stem cells are the holy grail of healing. And if you don't know what a stem cell is, you came from stem cells, right? This egg and the sperm, they get together, they frolic, and woof, we've got a baby. 9 months later, that baby comes out. Some of those stem cells stay what we call pluripotent, meaning they can turn into any cell, tissue, or organ that's needed for the body whenever the body needs. Think about when you were a kid. You had boundless amounts of energy. You could just go nonstop. Your brain was always turned on. You were learning. You were going. Everything was amazing. You sure didn't have back pain or gray hair. You didn't have heart disease, right? If you fell off your bike, you got up and you took off running. That's when you're a kid. You have boundless amounts of energy and stem cells. Your body's always repairing itself. Well, as you age, your stem cells decline. They become dormant. They're tired. They're wore out. Believe it or not, middle age is your 30s. Unfortunately, sorry, that is what our body's telling us. We have half of the stem cells by the time we're in our 30s. By the time you're in your 60s, you have less than 10% that are active. They're there. They're just dormant and wore out. So I get up in the morning, I put my patch on, I leave my patch on 12 hours. During that time, I probably am not going to feel or notice anything. Maybe you do, but most people don't, right? It's not very common that you feel anything from that first patch. But we know this is happening because we can see it, and we can see it in our studies. We can see it in blood work. We can see it in people's results, and we can see it over time when we're watching people, monitoring people from these studies. And of course, all of you and the other millions of people around the planet that are using these patches as well, too. And so what we have is what's called a compound effect. The longer you patch, the more benefits you're going to gain, not only in repair and regeneration, but also in reversal. We can see in our studies reversal of functionality. Example, the cardiovascular system. Every 6 weeks you're patching, your vascular system is functioning 8 weeks younger. We can see in the brain, looking at brain mapping and EEG, which again, you can see these studies on our site, startx39now.com. You can see that the brain comes into coherence, right? That left brain, right brain are communicating. The anxiety is brought down. The brain is in a better, looking at colors, better state, right? You think of red, angry, orange, yellow versus blue, green, right? Purple. So we can see this happen in our brain mapping over time. The longer you patch, the more of that benefit, the more of the balance, we call it homeostasis, you'll receive from the patch. So we recommend 1 month for every decade you are old. That is your starting point to wake up all those dormant stem cells. So if you're in your 50s, 5 months, 60, 6 months, 70, 7 months, and so on. And we always tell people, just stop patching whenever you want to start aging again. Because once you wake up all your dormant stem cells, and you'll have experiences along the way, you'll feel things. What do people feel? Most people feel within the first 3 to 6 weeks, they're going to feel pain reduction. We see that a lot in our clinical studies and our people, right? Every day we hear that. They have better quality of sleep. They have more deep REM sleep, longer sleep time. Think about this. If you're not in pain, you're sleeping better. What happens to your brain? More mental clarity, concentration, focus, energy, right? Those things start to happen when you're sleeping and you're not in pain. And then we see benefits in wound healing. How many people have had an accident or an injury or a surgery, and it takes time, right? Remember when I interviewed Dr. Adam? He does a specific under eye procedure for his patients. They fly in from all over the world to do this. And he can see a 40% reduction in their healing time from the X39. Their recovery time is almost cut in half. And you can see this in pictures. You can see this in his patients. And he screen shares that it's on my YouTube, of course, if you want to see it. So know that when we use this patch, we see immediate benefits, right? Whether you feel them or not, they're happening in the body. We can see them on the studies. We can see them in pictures with his case. And then, of course, we can see this compound effect. The longer I patch, the more benefits I have, the more repair and regeneration. So I put my patch on in the morning when I get up, leave it on 12 hours, take it off, throw it away. Put it on your pet if you want to, right? We love our pets, but you can take it off and throw it away. You put on a brand new patch the next day. We need that 12-hour break. All right. Everybody always asks, why can't I just wear it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? It's kind of like leaving these lights on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're going to burn out. This signals GHK, and that signaling molecule signals the body to cause what's called a biochemical reaction inside of the body, right? This amazing chain reaction of things start to happen from the mitochondria, increasing, improving the cell-to-cell communication and all of this balancing and things that are going on. We need a break to let the body to repair and regenerate. And then we signal again the next day, and then we give it a break and we signal. And again, 10 years in the lab, all over a total of 90 different clinical studies with all the different patches. That is what's proven to be the most effective to produce the results that people are gaining, from organ function to system function to cellular function. So that's why we recommend that. Now, a lot of questions people ask as far as side effects, interactions, contraindications, those are also listed on our clinical studies as 0. We have 0 side effects. We have 0 contraindications or interactions with other therapies or medicines or treatments. How do we know this? Well, nothing's entering the body. So when there's nothing entering the body, there's nothing to interact with. And of course, we're not your physicians, so please check with yours if you have questions about your medications or what you're doing. But we do have a lot of people that share on a regular basis. We do what we call a patching podcast Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. and different Zoom room. But we do that, and we interview 2 new people every night. Every night, 2 people share their personal experience, and I've heard thousands of people tell me they've reduced the amount of medication they're on, or they've eliminated medications, which just means you're going to have a better quality of life. That's what this technology is about. It really is not that difficult. It is a wearable light technology. It's called photobiomodulation or phototherapy. I put the patch on, the patch activates a peptide, and that peptide goes and does what it needs to help bring my body into balance. I take it off 12 hours later, and I do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. I do it until I've crossed all the things off my list, right? So I recommend, if you're new to Lifewave, make a list of all your problems, of all your issues, of all your symptoms, of all the things that you want to improve in your life. And that is what your reference point is. Pay attention. You're going to notice things along the way. And then there'll be things that you don't notice. And people will say to you, wow, you sure are doing this, or gosh, you look different. What's changed in your world? We can see at that 3-month mark that collagen production really starts to amp up, and it changes your skin. It changes the texture of your skin, and it changes how things sag or don't anymore. It makes a huge difference in our body on the outside too, as we're reversing and repairing on the inside. So I'm going to just real quickly not go into, that kind of depth, but I want to share the other patches with you. So X49 is David's most recent patch. This patch activates a daughter peptide to X39. So this is GHK, this is AHK. They work individually in and of themselves. AHK, that peptide, has an affinity for muscles, so helping build lean muscle mass, reducing body fat, increasing bone density. I just had my DEXA scan done almost 2 weeks ago. Fantastic results. But this also loves your cardiovascular system and your neurological system. So when we look at the two of them together, woo, we see some serious synergistic benefits, right? This activates stem cells systemically, meaning throughout your whole body. This likes to go to certain areas, and when you put the two together, it's like a mother and daughter that love each other. So great combo to always use if you have these goals of lean muscle mass, less body fat, and neurological, and of course cardiac benefits, and bone density is kind of important. Those two, stem cell activation technology. The first patch that I always recommend after X39 is Eon. This was the #1 selling patch that David had until X39 came on the market, and it's #2. And the reason why is this patch actually elevates a peptide that reduces inflammation in the body. If you have a diagnosis, you have inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of all disease. We know that. So this patch can be worn at the same time as this patch. It can be worn with this patch as well too. They all work independently of each other, but they do work synergistically together. When you reduce inflammation at the same time you're elevating your stem cells, we see that people achieve their results, say, a little bit quicker, because we know inflammation is a consumer of stem cells. So bringing down the inflammatory processes in the body is very, very important for your health. It also brings your body into a parasympathetic state. So helps to calm your nervous system. We call it our happy patch. Super important. So I'm going to talk to you about the other two Y age patches. And you can see on here it says Y age. Why age? Right? Why age? Why would we age? We don't want to age. We want to age gracefully if we do, and we don't. I love what Dr. Stan says. I want to go out with my boots on, not a diaper, right? We want to age, and we want to have a good quality of life while we age. So David named him Y age. But the other two are carnosine and glutathione. These are two antioxidants. Let me talk about them kind of like X39 and 49. Glutathione is the master antioxidant, detox or immune booster. We know that. It's like liquid gold for your joints. Glutathione works systemically, meaning throughout your whole body. Glutathione goes in, elevates your own glutathione. So this patch activates a different peptide that elevates your own glutathione. So very different than a drip or a supplement. They increase glutathione about 20%. 7-minute half-life. This glutathione, because it is your own that's being elevated, it elevates it over 300%, and sustains it for a 24-hour period. It's a big difference. So huge for your immune system, especially the people that have issues with detoxing. It's hard for them. This is something very, very important for your health. It's kind of like your car. Like, how many of you own a car? Probably a lot of you. How many of you change your oil in your car on a regular basis? Probably most of you, right? Well, how many of you change your oil in your body on a regular basis? I just finished up a 4-part detox series. I had Laura on here with me. I had Dr. Dawn on here. I had Dr. Tim on here with me. So those are in January of this year. Just last month, we did a whole 4-part series on detoxing. So glutathione is a huge part of that. We want to keep those toxins out of the body and keep your body healthy. But carnosine is an antioxidant, and I say second to glutathione because it is huge in what it does in your body. Unfortunately, both decline as we age, but carnosine loves to hang out in the muscles. We can see it helps build lean muscle mass. It's great for tissue repair. It's fantastic for the brain and for the heart. We also see organ function benefits with carnosine. Carnosine really likes the pancreas, for example. So you can kind of imagine what benefits that could have. I love carnosine on a daily basis. I use both of these daily because antioxidants are extremely important. This is not an outside source. I don't have to put something in my body, swallow it, or inject it and hope my body can absorb it, assimilate it, digest it, do what it's supposed to do. I just put the patch on, activates a peptide like that, and I don't even have to think about it, and it does what it's supposed to do to keep me healthy. So super important patch. I'm going to talk about our SP6 quickly. This patch balances your endocrine system. Now, it is the beginning of the year. I know last year, Laura and I did a Zoom talking about tummy reduction protocol, kind of along the lines of weight loss. SP6 is a patch that boosts your metabolism and curbs your appetite. Balancing the endocrine system. So think my thyroid, my glands and organs, my adrenal glands, right? Those organs, your intestines and your pancreas, and those that are responsible for your hormone production. That's what SP6 balances. So fantastic patch for that. Then I'm going to share with you our pain patch is, I say is because there's two. They're identical. I know a lot of people ask, how do we use AccuLife versus IceWave? So you can't have something licensed for pets or animals, veterinary use, that's licensed for people. So we have IceWave, which is for people, and we have AccuLife that's for pets. You can go to YouTube and you can type in AccuLife horses, and you can see all kinds of demonstrations of people using these on horses and on pets. But IceWave's the same. There's nothing different in these two patches. But just so you know, IceWave is, and AccuLife is, a 2-patch system, meaning that you use a white patch and a tan patch at the same time. So it's not like this. This is just the X39. I just stuck it right here on my body. They don't like to come off at first. There we go. Okay, so this patch, very different than these. This patch activates a very specific peptide in my body, GHK. These do not activate a peptide in my body. They trigger a process called beta oxidation. They work with your biofield. They work with the energetic electromagnetic field in your body. They work with the polarity. That's why there's a white and a tan, positive and a negative. And so when you have a pain, say it's your shoulder, you put the white one on the right and the tan one on the left. And that works to eliminate or release the pain by opening up energy channels in your body. Now, we do have what's called a clockwise method, and you can go to Lifewave Health, which is the company's YouTube channel, and you can see David demonstrate many different ways to move these patches around to be able to help find out where that pain is radiating from, where it's coming from, and be able to help open up the energy channels to eliminate the pain. But just so you know, these two are the same. Sometimes if I run out of IceWave, I'll use AccuLife. If my husband comes home from golf and he's had to walk 18 holes instead of have a cart, his ankle hurts because he shattered his talus bone dirt bike riding 30 years ago. I'll say, oh, you're being a horse's, you know what? Just joking with him and give him the AccuLife instead of the IceWave, but they work the same. It doesn't matter. But both of them are a must to have. They're going to help get rid of pain on the spot. They're not going to fix any of the issues. That's why we use X39 and Eon on a daily basis to get to the root of the problem. If there's inflammation in your body, there's pain. That's very common. So reducing the inflammation can help reduce the pain. And sometimes X39 helps reduce the pain. It just depends. It's not always. This is what you use if you have pain. All right. So I'm going to talk to you about Energy Enhancer, the first patch that David invented, because it is a 2-patch system also. It triggers beta oxidation. It works with the polarity of your body, but it does it a little bit differently. It increases stamina and energy and endurance in the body. It impacts the mitochondria. Those are the organelles, the little powerhouses responsible, the ATP for the energy coming out of the cells. So help to expand the light in the cells and help to increase that energy and stamina endurance. Not like a Rockstar, Red Bull, or Monster energy drink, but think stamina, longevity, right? And so we know as we age, our cells shrink, and so this helps to expand them. So Energy Enhancer is going to be something that you can use daily if you want to. Again, white right, tan left. Now, we do have places in the instruction booklet, and you can see our Navy SEAL up here. It's got the white on the right, the tan on the left. Obviously, this is just the white. The tan would go on the other side of the body, the left side of the body, corresponding body part, whether it's wrist, knee, ankle, or top of the hand. But this is the patch you can use daily if you want, or you can just use it as needed for extra energy and endurance. So the last 2 patches I'm going to share with you before we open it up for questions are our nighttime patches. So some of the patches are daytime only. As you gathered from X39, I told you put it on in the morning when you get up and leave it on 12 hours. X49 is the same. Obviously, for increasing energy, Energy Enhancer's daytime only. Definitely not a nighttime patch, but we have patches for the nighttime. And that's Silent Nights and Alavita. So X39 does help with sleep. We know it increases GABA, so we know that it does help you to get a good restful night's sleep and help with that deep REM sleep. But Silent Nights works a little bit differently. A lot of talking. Got to get a little extra water in, which is really important when we're patching, right? Hydration is key. And you can see I like lemons and limes in mine. I'm currently drinking a sparkling mineral water right now, which is super refreshing. So Silent Nights is a patch you put on at night at bedtime. You only leave that patch on during sleep. When you get up in the morning, take it off and throw it away. It's probably not going to be 12 hours, and you don't want it to be. But it will help increase your length of time that you're sleeping, as well as the depth of sleep, that deep REM sleep. Now, for everybody, that's a little bit different. It's not a Ambien. We're not going to put it on tonight and poof, I'm out. It doesn't work that way. Maybe you get a good night's sleep that first night, a little bit better, but it's something that builds and works over time. So David's actually going to take a deep dive into Silent Nights tomorrow. So if you want to hear more about that patch at 9 p.m. Eastern, he will be educating you on Zoom, his Zoom, the corporate Zoom at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. The other nighttime patch is Alavita. And I've never used Silent Nights. Honestly, I don't have any issues sleeping. I never have. But Alavita, put this baby on the first night. So Alavita is in our skincare line. There is a day cream and a night cream. And I'm sure you've seen the eye cream that's coming out next Wednesday on Valentine's Day. GHK Copper Peptide eye cream. Huge, huge, huge to hit the market. We're so excited for that. I have been using it since November, so I really like it. But the Alavita is our patch you wear at nighttime, and you leave this on 12 hours. So it does increase your melatonin a little bit, but not like a sleep patch or anything like that. It does help with cognition. The big thing is the anti-aging, reverse aging, lines, wrinkles, all of that stuff with Alavita. But I love it because it reduces oxidative stress and inflammatory stress in the body, which are key for longevity. We want to make sure that we reduce that toxic stress load in our body, and Alavita helps with that. So it's just a fantastic patch. So I want to be able to make sure we have plenty of time for questions. Hopefully that it was a comprehensive overview. I don't normally do those. I typically just dive into X39 and then, either have somebody on here or we jump right to questions. But for some reason tonight, like I said, if you're just joining us, I felt the need to go over each of the patches and kind of give a little bit more thorough overview of those. So I'm going to go through here and look at our questions. If you're interested in hearing David Schmidt personally in person. He is going to be in Orlando on February 24th. He is doing an event for us. You will have a full 3 hours to listen to him. I did put a link in the chat. So if you're interested, we have about, I think, 40 or 50 tickets left. So as far as questions, please put your questions in the chat. I'm going to spend the next 25 minutes kind of perusing through here and giving you guys the answers. So how can I get the patch bag? So Dawn is on my team and she made that for me and gave it to me a couple months ago. So I'm not really for sure, Julia, that's a great question though, but it was a great gift. I'm super grateful for it. Linda, where and what patches can we place on our knees for pain and more? Good question. People are always asking me about pain. So of course you're going to use your X39 and Eon. You can put them both right on your knee. This is the way the patch works. On the body. On the body. I promise you, you can put it anywhere and you're activating GHK, you're activating your stem cells. They're systemic. They're going to go wherever is needed. But our mind tells us, if my knee hurts, I've got to patch my knee or it's not going to work. Well, that's not the way X39 works. It's not the way Eon works, but you can put them both on there. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes people say, I put the X39 right on the spot and it went away, or it reduced, or I put the Eon right on the spot and it went away, or the pain reduced. Fantastic, okay? But we know that Ice Wave, that is its job. White right, tan left, open up the energy channels and help release the pain. That is what it does. I don't know that X39 and Eon are going to get rid of your pain on the spot, but I do know that if you use them, they're going to get to the root of the problem because that's what they do. But another patch, Linda, that some people do use that have success is glutathione. They put the Eon on the left side of the knee and they put the glutathione on the outside or the right side of the knee. If I'm on my right knee right now, I'm literally like feeling my right knee left and right. If you're on your left knee, then the glutathione is going to go on the outside and the Eon on the inside. David gave us that information a long time ago. I've heard him say it a bunch. But that is another option that you can patch to. I don't get into protocols. I really don't. There's a few things that I've, perused through in some books and stuff. But the main thing is every patch comes with an instruction booklet. The reason why we have these different places is because when you have clinical studies that are double-blind placebo, these people have to be doing the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month. And so we show, this one's the Silent Nights, lots of places on the head, right? These are different acupuncture points, different meridians. And so David chose those to bring in Eastern medicine and how powerful it is, of course, with our far in the advance of Western medicine, the patch technology. And so our clinical studies were done on these acupuncture points. You can use any one of them. Stick with one for 7 days, move it around. I personally put my patches below my belly button, straight down in a row. I don't even mess with it. I'm busy. It's not a thing I really worry about. I've always done that. I've always just got up in the morning, gone to the gym and, get my shower, put the patches on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done, good to go. And that's it. Take them all off at night and I'll throw on my aloe vera below my belly button. I don't worry about that. You can't make your stem cells go to an area. Just so you understand that. You cannot direct them. Your stem cells are going to go where they want to go, when they want to go. Your body knows how to heal itself. And that's why we always say give it time, because it takes time for the body to repair and regenerate. It takes time to wake up all those dormant stem cells. So this is not a quick fix. This is not, 30 days and I'm done. Woo! 30 years of problems are gone. It's going to take longer than that, especially if you have something chronic. We can never expect, if I told you that if you had 30 years of pain and inflammation and chronic issues and they're gone in 30 days, you should run. You should be really scared. That is not something you want to be a part of. This is regenerative medicine. And regenerative medicine says I'm going to repair and regenerate the dysfunction or the degeneration in the body. And you do that over time. And people do ask me, what if I stop patching? What happens? I'm like, you'll turn into a pumpkin. Not really. When you stop patching, then whatever benefits you have. You can stop patching anytime. Why am I still patching almost 3 years later? Well, prevention, vitality, longevity, wellness. And it's really important for me to be able to be here and have the best quality of life, to be able to enjoy life with my family and friends and get to experience new things. And in order to do that, I got to take care of this body. And of course, this is a tool in my toolbox that's made a massive difference in that. Will the patches interfere with someone on dialysis? I am not a kidney doctor, urologist by any means. Please check with your doctor if you have questions. Do we have people that are patching on dialysis? Yep, we sure do. I remember I interviewed a man. It was right at the very beginning when I got into Lifewave on one of our patching podcasts, and he'd been on dialysis for 41 years. He had something happen when he was 16. 41 years, not able to urinate on his own. And 6 weeks later, he was urinating on his own. I was like, what did I get into? But that's, obviously a personal choice. Does the patch use nanobots? No, we do not use nanobots. Just watched a video that said it's been around since 2004. How's nobody heard of it? I know. That's what I was saying at the beginning. You may have not heard of Lifewave before. I hadn't heard of it until 3 years ago. It's word of mouth, people talking to people. And primarily, this company was really took off in the beginning in Europe, and it really took off in Asia. The US just jumped up as the #1 market in the entire company last year. So the word is spreading now. It really started to take off during, the pandemic, when we had to be on Zoom and people started sharing on Zoom instead of in person, one-to-one, to one. And so it started taking off, around the release of X39, which was, like I said, just over 4 years ago. And then with Zoom coming on board, people have started to really share with others all over the country and the world via Zoom. Okay. So I would get 2 to 3 pressure wounds a year, and now none in the last 16 months. That's fantastic. The replay of 17. Yeah. Okay. The presentation was on Saturday, Team Evolve Telegram channel. Absolutely. Thank you guys I appreciate some of you coming in here and answering these questions too. That means I can get to more of them. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What patches and/or aromatherapy mists would be suggested for elevating testosterone? So David shared the mist, the shine, and the dream he created for himself to balance his hormones. He turned 60 last year, and he noticed that the testosterone specifically was declining, and sometimes because of endocrine disruptors, we can see our estrogen rising and progesterone, things like that, getting out of balance. So of course, X39 Eon, SP6 are the patches, but the aromatherapy mist do amazing things in as little as even 3 days. We can see, but we can't make those claims, of course. So you can watch David's video clip from not this last year conference, but the year before. It was so funny. He came out with a sheet of paper, and he said, these are all the things the attorney said that I cannot say about these myths. These are the claims that we cannot make. So I'm going to read them to you so you know what they are from the clinical studies. It was really good. Can all the patches be used on animals? That is, again, a personal choice. I have seen different materials and, worked and talked with different practitioners, vets that use different patches on different animals, and they do use a lot of them on there. You can definitely use X39, right? Eon. I've seen glutathione being used on animals, and of course, Aculi for IceWave, definitely. Swollen ankles, I would use your X39 Eon and Energy Enhancer. So this Energy Enhancer location, I love my Energy Enhancer down here. Sometimes by the end of the days, your toes feel a little chunkier than they did in the morning. Then Energy Enhancer, it turns over your lymphatic system as well. So it's a fantastic patch to get that lymph fluid flowing, which is huge for your health. Friend of yours has mold in her gut. Oh, that's not good. So she needs to do a specific mold detox. That's super important, or she's not going to be able to recover from anything. So I would have her get with her practitioner about detoxing for mold. Patches to support the gut would be your X39 and Eon. Of course, glutathione being that master antioxidant, and SP6 does a great job of supporting the intestines as well. Mineral water is not the same as carbonated water. I like regular water, and I like the mineral water as well too. So the key with the patches is to stay hydrated. Half your body weight in ounces every day. If you're exercising, probably a little bit more than that. Add some fruit, lemon, lime, strawberries, peaches, pineapples, mint, cucumbers, whatever you want. If you don't like the flavor of water, I just like mineral water. It's a little bit, a little bit different, and it's good and healthy for you. And I put a little bit of lime in it. So, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. How old am I? That's wonderful. I will be 50 this year. So that's, yes, I do use the day cream and the night cream and the eye cream now. Most recently, I use the aloe vera patch, absolutely 100%. But, these patches are powerful. X39, Eon, X49. Of course, I didn't start with that because it wasn't out. Glutathione, carnosine. It's, for me, it's super important to keep this one body that I have healthy. And the patches have been a huge, huge contributing factor to that as well, too. So for any kind of sciatica pain, X39, Eon, Icewave for sure. If you have any kind of cysts or any lumps or bumps, I remember Leah, she was talking about using the X39 on a cyst she had on her leg. You can use Energy Enhancer or Eon on them as well too. And you can put all three of them around the area. Put an X39 and Eon and, an Energy Enhancer on the one side and put the, other Energy Enhancer on the other. David's Zoom tomorrow. If you are a brand partner, Roseanne, with Lifewave, you would have received an email notification about that. Make sure you check your junk or spam folder. He's going to be presenting live, I believe it's 11 in the morning. I can't remember. There's different between the time zones, but I always catch the 9 p.m. So either one, and you'll get a replay of it. And then also it is in the Facebook page too for brand partners with Lifewave. I won't have his on my YouTube channel, but it will be on Lifewave's YouTube channel, which is Lifewave Health. And this Zoom will be on my YouTube channel later on this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love it. You guys can you can take the copy, absolutely watch it and share it with as many people as you want. So when you have any type of issues with your immune system causing aches and pains and all that kind of stuff, we would use your X39 and Eon, of course. It's always our starting point, X39 and Eon. My personal sponsor, April, shared with me these patches because of what it did for her in that situation. Julie Rincon is in regards to your question, and she was using the X39, the Eon, and aloe vera at night, and she had huge improvements in 7 days. That's why she called me and she said, Staci, you have to get this for your daughter. This is going to make a huge difference. So that's why I said, well, if it helped you, give me the link. I'll order it, whatever it is, right? Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. What patches would you do for long haul COVID, or should I say patches that impact microcirculation? So definitely your X39, your Eon, 100%. Use that X49. It's huge for circulation, oxygenation, and of course your immune system. Hello, glutathione girl. Definitely get on those patches. Several variations of hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's autoimmune. So definitely your X39. Your Eon and your SP6, as I mentioned earlier, helps with the endocrine system. Remember that the patches don't have anything in them. There's nothing interacting with any medications or supplements or treatments that you're doing. So you are safe to use them. Again, check with your physician. I'm not your doctor, but you are safe to use them if you are taking any other medications or doing any other kind of treatments or anything. Oh, cool. Good. We all like to keep our patches in bags, don't we? So the tickets. Oh, okay, tickets. So with the tickets, Eventbrite, when I set that up, it only lets me let me do one ticket at a time. So if you want multiple tickets, then just go in a couple times. Just click on the link once, put your name in, your email, and then click on your, the link again, spouse's name, email, that kind of thing. They charge the fee, unfortunately, and it doesn't matter if you buy 10 tickets at a time, you're going to pay 10 different fees. It's just Eventbrite. I have never seen, I've used Eventbrite for about 15 years now, another platform to be able to accommodate and take care of all of the ticket sales and that kind of stuff. What if you forget to take the patches off? That's a great question. So if you forget to take them off, you will turn into a pumpkin overnight. You can just forget it. You're done. No, I'm joking. So somebody's got to laugh after that, right? Maybe nobody's. Dean is. Thank God. Okay, Dean's with me. I'm like, is nobody paying attention? Somebody is. I only get to see a couple boxes at the top out of the 320 of you that are on here. Now, if you forget to take your patch off, we've all done it. Just take it off in the morning and give your body that 24-hour break, and then start patching again the next day. Trust me, there's been days I've went to bed with 5 patches on. I'm like, oh man, how did that happen? I just told you, you get busy. They're down my belly button. I forgot about them, whatever. But it's not a big deal. You can just do it, take a day off, start the next day. What patch can help with overactive bladder? Well, when we look at organ function, and I love that you guys are sharing your testimonials in there. It's fantastic too. When we look at organ function, we look at, of course, X39, but your YH patches, your Eon, your glutathione, your carnosine. As I mentioned, SB6 has benefits for the organs, and so does aloe vera. So, I'm not saying you have to use all of them to impact your organ function, but I would start with X39 and Eon, and then, go from there. Could the patches overstimulate the energy meridians or cause dysfunction in other areas? That's a great question. You know what I love about this technology? It is about balance. I asked David this question at the very beginning when I first started patching, because I was patching specifically for my daughter in the beginning and issues she was dealing with, and she had a lot of bruising. Her fibrinogen was extremely low, and if it went lower, she'd bleed out and die. And so that was a huge concern of mine. And he said, absolutely not, because Eon reduces inflammatory markers such as fibrinogen. Most people have high fibrinogen, which causes cardiovascular disease. And he said the patches are all about balance. If something is low, it will bring it up. If something is high, it will bring it down. And we did see that. The bruising stopped completely with my daughter. She had no bruising after just even a month. She hadn't had periods in 3 years, and the ones she had were so irregular, and she almost bled out the last 2 periods she had. And so her periods came back, and they were completely normal for an entire year, and she hadn't had one for years. So we saw huge normalizing in hormones and balance, and that's all the patches do. They can never throw something out of balance or in dysfunction. It is all about function. Because you're activating a peptide, there is a chain reaction that takes place. That biochemical reaction says balance, 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 balance. And I'm not saying it's a straight line to success, like I was here and then I'm going to feel amazing and never have a down day. It's just like anything. There's going to be some, ups and downs. You may not feel 100% every single day. There may be aches and pains gone one day, and then you're like, oh, that hurts. What is that? Who knows? There's so much going on inside of the body. At the end of the day, we really don't know. But I do know that for sure, there is no contraindications. There are no side effects from the patches. It cannot put your body in harm at all. We have 20 years of studies and people, thousands and thousands of people. So yes, these are not stem cell patches. Absolutely. Nope, definitely not. I've said stem cell activation patches. They activate the body's stem cells. Over and over and over and over again, I've said that a million times. So yeah, they're definitely not putting stem cells in your body. No aborted fetuses, no fecal cells, no cloned kidney baby cells or any of that craziness that's going on out there. This activates GHK. As you saw from the books I've shared, GHK is responsible for activating and mobilizing your own stem cells. Can it help with the skin? Yes. And your aches and pains in your joints? Absolutely. Definitely. X39 and Eon for sure. I would use your glutathione to coat those joints. I would use your aloe vera to help with any skin issues for sure. So X39 came out in 2019. Yep. Energy Enhancer was the first. Definitely. Yep. Not all patches have been around that long, and that's why we haven't heard of it. I love that. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn's the one that got me the bag. She didn't know if she was here or not. So if you guys go search Dawn in the chat, she's the one that got me the bag. Oh, fantastic. Woo, went from 6. Oh, yeah, that's great, Susan. Pre-diabetic went from 6.2 to 5.7. Amazing. Hearing damage, that is a great question. When we talk about the ears and hearing, that is obviously something that declines your ability as you age. So, and again, someone's asking about nerve damage and hearing and things like that. Use your X39 and Eon. I would also use carnosine, because carnosine impacts the brain, and your ears are up here in the brain. So I would use X39 and Eon and carnosine, because this is all connected. That's just we don't have any clinical studies, of course, on any diseases or any conditions. But when you're looking at the area of the body, that's what I would do. If you wear patches longer than 12 hours, yep, nothing happens. If they fall off or wash off, eventually you'll forget it. I know sometimes people are like, I left one on the back and I forgot about it for days. Nothing bad's going to happen. You don't have to worry about it. So can this help with nerve damage causing balance issues? David talks about nerve damage. He has at different times. It takes a long time to repair nerves. I'm going to be honest with you. That's not a quick fix. Have people had success? Yeah, they have. They actually have. They've had lots of success is what I've heard over the last, almost 3 years now, but it's going to take some time. So hair loss. Woo! Okay. Well, I can tell you this, X39, we have probably, I don't know, tens of thousands of people's pictures in their hair growth coming back, darkening, right? Their beards, their eyebrows. I know myself, my hair, I do get my hair highlighted, but I know that it doesn't last. It gets dark really fast. My hair is naturally really, really dark. So it definitely is darker and it grows faster and a lot longer than it ever has. My hairdresser's like, your hair never used to be able to get this long, and now it does. And it's, it's definitely the patches. And so anyway, X39, X49, we look at our clinical studies, we can see that they grow hair faster than minoxidil. So it's pretty fast. Oh, that's a good question. Is it true that X39 is the only patch that is a stem cell patch, or all of the activating cells activating stem cells, all of them, or just at a lower level? Good question. So X39 activates your stem cells. X49 is in the same family because it activates a daughter peptide. Different types of cells, though, that are focused, again, like I said, on muscle and bone and cardiac and brain, neurological. But none of the other patches activate stem cells. None of them. Okay. And so, and the X39 is not all of the other patches abilities into one like that. It's not like it activates all those other peptides that the others do into one either. So definitely totally different patches that do totally different things. They do work independently of themselves, and they can obviously work synergistically together. So definitely helps. Oh, good. Thank you for sharing testimonials on helping with arthritis. Fantastic. Thyroid, amazing. Your pumpkin. Hey, Lindsay. I know. I try to do something to make sure you guys are listening, right? Like I said, I can't see you all, so I'm like, is anybody listening out there? I'm sure you are, right? How about respiratory support? I would do X39, Eon, and energy enhancer. I'd use your energy enhancer right here on these parts. I can't tell you that we have any patches to get rid of kidney stones. I've been asked about that before. We can talk about kidney function. We can see that with our, YH series and our X39. But I would, look at maybe some dietary changes, things like that, that's causing that those kidney stones to take place. So we've got a few more minutes, like one, can the patch be used on the 8-year-old? This is the first time you guys have asked this tonight. I'm surprised. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just going to tell you this. With kids, the first 2 people I patched were my children, my daughter being in a wheelchair, nonverbal, requiring full care. It is your personal choice. It is your personal choice to take your children through the McDonald's drive-thru and get them the food as well, too, or lack thereof food that's going into their body, right? I can't make any recommendations on kids, neither can the company, because of course, every company that's a wellness product says not intended for 18 and under, check with your physician, blah, 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 if you're pregnant or nursing. So that is your personal choice. Knowing what I've told you, the patches have nothing entering the body, no side effects, no contraindications. They can only help bring the body into balance. Why am I here? Because of my child. I have spent 22 years researching and doing things with stem cell technologies and therapies This was by far the most beneficial and most powerful thing I have ever seen. Simple, easy, effective, non-invasive. And I've done invasive things with my child with stem cell therapies in and out of this country because of the power and the benefits that stem cells can provide. We saw some benefits. We didn't have any side effects, thank God, or any issues that could potentially happen. But we never saw anything as beneficial as we did with this patch. So just know that it's your personal choice and make that choice as a parent for what would be best for your child. So thank you all for being here this evening. If you didn't get your questions answered tonight, please ask the person that invited you. We're all connected. We all work very closely together. Someone here will have that answer for you, and they can help you customize a wholesale pack for you and for your family that is going to be what is the most beneficial for you and your needs. So we look forward to seeing you all again next week. You have a special treat next week with Dr. Don coming back on again. So that's going to be exciting. So we look forward to seeing you all then. And hopefully I know I'll see 1,000 of you in Orlando in February 24th with David Schmidt. Thank you all. Have a fantastic evening, and we will see you very soon.